What's up, boss? Welcome to About Her Business, the podcast where we leave all the gossip at the door and get straight down to business. I'm your host, Jate. And today we have Miss Collie is well known as a professional opera singer and songwriter who uses her powerful voice through channeled singing to help high achieving women reach their purpose. And she's here today to help us sing to the beat on what she means business. So, ladies, grab your cups and your notepads and let's get down to it. The meeting is now in session. Welcome, Miss Anakali.
Hello, everybody. So glad to be here with you.
So let's begin. You were born in Europe and you moved to Los Angeles in 2017. Can you talk about the emotional and spiritual reasons behind that relocation and how did it change the trajectory of your life?
To be precise, I was born in Europe, in Eastern Europe, and I finished my studies over there. I moved to Italy, and before moving to US, I was living 4 years in Italy. And over there, I was in a relationship and kind of codependent, aggressive relationship, but that started me writing songs. So, so and there in Italy, I had a lot of time and something started to shift over there mm, on the surface. And I guess because of all those happenings, I actually tried and I participated in visa diversity lottery. If you know about that, it's a lottery for people to be able to win a visa to US, a green card visa. So I participated 2 times, and on the second one, I won. And that's why I'm here today.
Oh, wow. So, again, welcome to America. And that's a powerful journey because who knew that going through such a painful time and moment in your life, it would turn into such a big moment for you. So, before your transformation, you describe experiencing codependent relationships. What did the move teach you about boundaries, identity, and self worth as a woman?
Well, I definitely had to go through a lot because I moved here by myself and I was still in the relationship with my ex. At that point, I had no idea that I would break up with him in some time. But at that moment, I was going through so many things because he was not able even to help me, not even financially coming here. When I actually landed in America, I had like $10 because I bought my ticket to stay there my first half year in America. So I was like, bottom. I was bottom. I was all by myself. So I started to really feel it how everything depends only on me. Like there's nobody else in this life that will come here and save me. So I have to provide for myself everything
Mhm.
from simple security of having something to eat tomorrow, having some job, to having some pleasure from life. And at that point, I realized I didn't have any pleasure from being alive. Not not a single one. Although while I came to Key West, I loved the climate there. I loved the tropic palms and beauties and iguanas and the ocean, definitely.
Mhm.
So there I started to feel some kind of contrast because I was kind of dying inside because I was missing my ex at that point because I was still loving him, or so I thought, and was going through these difficulties. And yet I was starting to receive some pleasure from the place and from the air I was living in. So there was really like some kind of dissonance, inside of me. Like I enjoy something, but still I'm happy. And after a while, I decided to move to Los Angeles. And the reason to that was in Key West, it's a very small town. I don't know if you've been there,
Mhm.
but I felt I don't have anywhere to grow there because it's a 2 miles per 4 miles town. And I felt kind of in a cage. I was still struggling with the cage. I was feeling myself in Italy. I felt myself in a cage. And I said, I need something else. And I thought Los Angeles would be a great city for that because I knew it had all kind of opportunities, all kind of people, and I will find something that suits me here. And when I moved here, after a few months, I guess, I met this woman that was doing women's circles. Her name is Asya. She's Russian. And from my very first women's circle, it blew my mind what we can do as women for each other, first of all. And second of all, I had a somatic pain in my back for years, years. That was like hurting in the morning and I couldn't even sleep. And after that women's circle, it it disappeared. It just like, and when I came home, I understood that it disappeared because I was so busy with the circle, with the practices we were doing, with the dances, with I was so impressed. And when I came home, oh my gosh, my back pain just disappeared. And since then it's just, and I said, okay, that's a huge sign for me. That's a huge sign. This is something that I have to do seriously. This is something I have to give all my attention to right now because something's going on. Yeah. Well, thanks to this woman, I started to grow my inner self, my inner support, and my responsibility in how I live my life. So at that moment, I decided I would put everything aside, everything that was bothering me, everything that was pushing me because I was so stressed. I need to get somewhere. I need to, grow and things. And when I came here, I was working in a bar. I was a bartender. So, and I started this path of transformation, of spiritual transformation, being working in a bar. That's another big contrast I was going through, but it actually helped me. But I guess we'll get there.
Thank you so much for being so vulnerable with our audience and sharing your personal story. I want to ask you because you're a person who experienced a whole lot of challenges growing up from having multiple surgeries and anxiety triggers. Was that the moment that you realized that this wasn't going to be your permanent identity?
Well, I had this moment where when I moved here to LA, I went to the beach and yes, I realized that I didn't want my life to be that way because as you know, when I was 3, my adenoids were cut because I had like some ear problems, like infections and stuff. And when I was 17, I got my tonsils out because we couldn't cure the tonsil. So my doctor said, okay, we should cut them. And back then I said, I didn't think I had any options. So I said, okay, let's do that. But after years and after this terrible 4 lives in Italy, I realized that my immunity is really zero, really bottomed. So when I came here and I looked at this ocean and I touched it and it's like icy and I still see like an old woman going and taking a bath in the ocean. I said, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that one day, because at that point I couldn't even drive in a car with open window because I would get sick and my neck would be hurting me and I would have all that anxiety and like bad not only mood, like physically, I was drained. So I had to guard myself really. And so no open windows, no like air current, I tried to stay far from AC somehow, but still I was thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do something with this because I don't know how I'll live. It can't be like such a pain and tell everybody to close all doors, you know because not everybody understands how is it to have a low immunity and have immunity issues. Like very few people who know how this is. So then I realized that there's gotta be something that
Yeah.
can help me with that. Yeah.
And I'm a person who had their tonsils taken out at a young age too. So I totally understand that risk. And I had to do exactly what my dermatologist said because I was allergic to the sunlight. So what I did was still go out in the sun, but I would just wear hats because everybody got to go outside. Everybody loves
Mhm.
nature is how we heal. Now, speaking of healing, healing your relationship with your mom and your father is something not all women go through, but you personally went through that. What did confronting that abandonment trauma require from you emotionally and spiritually?
Yes, that's a great topic because it's true that you said not everybody goes through that, but I think most of us should go through that because all our issues today are rooted in our childhood or even teenage years. Because in childhood, because I was in a hospital and my adenoids were cut, for some reason they wouldn't let my parents come in. That's why I had this abandonment trauma because my mom said that after that I wouldn't even speak for a week or two. So I don't remember. I remember being in the hospital, but I don't remember not talking or being hurt. But maybe that's true that like my abandonment trauma was from there, and our psychic for not letting us going through really hard emotions. Sometimes we suppress them, and our memory are suppressed about like actually seeing something or being scared. So I don't remember that. I just remember visuals. So, but that's something like something real that really affected me because I had, for example, abandonment trauma. I felt it until I was maybe 30, maybe even more than 30 years old. I still saw some, little waves left of that because I did have that fear sometimes. And I could spot it because I already went through a transformation where I got very conscious about everything going inside of me, emotions and stuff. Because when we heal, it doesn't mean we don't feel anything anymore. It means that we are conscious and we accept all the feelings and we are able to see them and feel them and then do something with them, sure. So, yes, that one. And my, let's say, deepest traumas with my mom actually happened when I was a teenager. There was a very difficult time in our country, and we were living like also very low in money. And I was studying opera singing in another city. So it was very difficult. Sometimes I would eat like a piece of cake for lunch because it was the cheapest one and more it had more calories, so it could keep me through the singing, through everything else. And but other than that, my parents were divorcing. My father was not the best father. So it was a lot of things going on there. So because of that, let's say our mothers, they were never taught how to be a mom. Nobody is. Nobody has an instruction how to live this life, how to get healed, how to not do, how to not create situations where the trauma will come in your life. Back then, I was not feeling that I was offended by my mom's behavior, but I like from this point that I am right now, I know what I was doing to myself. I was numbing myself because I didn't want to deal with the feelings, with anger towards my mom. I was numbing myself. So instead of revolting myself to her behavior, I was numbing, suppressing. And that created a huge, huge issue for me later in life because at one point when I started to work with myself, I realized that I don't feel anything in my heart. And I was so sure that I'm in love with my ex, for example, that I know what love is and blah blah. No, I did not. And the distance that I had, it was a luxury. I mean, from my ex at that point, because we kind of were together. He was coming here sometimes. But the distance, it was a luxury because I started to feel so clearly on energy level what's going on between us. And I started to feel it even on the levels of my body when I am like communicating with him or like, you know, the telepathy, it's like something normal in my life. But when when you know, so like somebody's thinking about you, and like in a moment he's calling you and all that stuff. So I started to feel in my body there, like when, like the tingling or some. For example, I thought that I loved him, and I felt under my heart over here some. It was like a pulling sensation, like dragging sensation. I thought that that's love. And now I know that those feelings are actually the process of draining energy out of you. And we don't know anything else. It is actually something we try to hold on to because this is something we feel. And if I feel this, this is real, and maybe this is love. But this is not love. If you, as they say, like butterflies and blah, blah. Well, butterflies, I don't know. We need to see what's that because sometimes we're excited, we feel butterflies. But when often, like very often, it's when we miss this person. When you know this person's bad for you and you try to go away for like get away, you go out and say, that's it, that like it's done. And then at that moment you start feeling this thing. Oh my gosh, no, but I miss this person. How would I be without this person? How would I live without him? I love him. And this like dragging, like pulling thing here that we also feel it's not love.
Um,
It's the energy that like we are giving away. And I think you understand how often that is that we think giving is great and we think giving is love. And it is sometimes, but not in this way, not in this situation.
absolutely.
Oftentimes with men it works differently, and sometimes we just draining yourself out of energy for somebody that is not worthy.
I agree. I can't tell you how many relationships I've been in where I've given more of myself than the guy has given me. And, I was a person that didn't believe in love. And going on my own personal spiritual journey, I learned to love myself. And that helps you to be able to love others. And speaking of helps, you've been in a healthy one now for more than 6 years. What inner shifts had to happen for you to attract and sustain this relationship?
Yes, thanks God. Almost 7 years ago, I met my nowadays husband, and we are happy together ever since. Well, we still have some moments where we like not agreeing with each other. It's normal, but we do really love each other, and this is the most important thing in my life. At one point, I realized that opening up my heart and experiencing true love when, well, by the feelings, because I had something to compare with. I felt the burning, the warmth inside my heart towards this person. And this is completely different experience from what I had before, anything that I felt before. And just feeling this and experiencing this love, unconditional love, when you know that you love this person no matter what. And I know that I choose this person every day. And even if I want to choose this person tomorrow, I will still wish the best to this person and I will still kind of love him in some way. But it's a completely different experience. And I really hope this inspires women to really take the healing path and open themselves up for this real feeling of real true love. Because at one point, I honestly thought this is it for my life. I don't need anything else. I came to experience true love. What more can I ask? And for me, it still is the most important thing that I achieved in my life. And sometimes people say, "Well, I achieved some success. I sold like $3 million course and blah blah." Well, maybe that's coming from me too, but my achievement is healing my heart and being able to love with real unconditional love. And that's definitely a little bit different from the love that I discovered for myself. Because it's true, if you are not able to love anybody else if you're not in love with yourself. But real love, because women usually think that they love themselves, but the actions that they do are saying something else, unfortunately. And sometimes loving yourself is making choices that are not that pleasant, but are best for yourself. So choosing the best for yourself, sometimes in spite of your own resistance and feelings, this is real love that can heal even more your own heart.
Oh, I love that, and I know I saw it, so I know somebody else saw it, but as she was talking, she was just glowing and glowing, and, you know, for a woman, when we're loved correctly, it brings about this glow to us, and it brings in our feminine energy. So,
Mhm.
let's talk about feminine energy for a second. For women that are listening who feel disconnected from their feminine power, how do you define heal feminine energy and what does it actually look like in real life?
Well, yes, I would I would say that the most important part of the feminine energy healing is connecting to your own body in a certain way. Connecting to our body is it means directly feeling every inch and even deeper of your body, inside, skin, everything. So usually we are living in our heads. Women are very easy to go overthinking, over planning, strategies. I need to do this, that, blah, 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 blah. And from here, it's very easy to leave, let's say, to leave the body. Because when we are in the head, in our thoughts, we are not actually in our body. There's nothing here that's going on for our energy. Our energy is in our body, is locked in our body, and feminine energy too, because it's like femininity, let's say, it's glued to our skin and bones and meat. And if we don't do anything with our bodies to connect with it on purpose, it's very difficult to awaken the feminine energy because first rule, first action, let's say, that helps us to raise feminine energy to awaken it is receiving pleasure from our own being, from our own body. So if you can just sit and start right now to receive pleasure from your own body just because you feel that you're in your own body, you're okay. But many women cannot do that. It sounds even weird for many of them. Like, what, like pleasure of my body? What? I need to touch myself? What? So there's men for touching me. I'm not supposed to touch myself, but this is not true. We actually are supposed to touch ourselves and to feel our skin and to feel our head and legs and everything. And this helps to connect with the body. And let's say the purpose is to to just be. For example, I'm just sitting here talking to you and I'm feeling like I'm receiving pleasure just from being in my skin.
Mm.
And I feel the pleasure in every part of my body, in my fingers, in my feet, in my, I don't know, knees. I'm just, it's like feeling this energy inside of you of pleasure, the energy of pleasure, because we women are the pleasure. Once I learned that actually that, well, I hope you know, and I hope like many women know that women and men are complete different systems, completely different world. And one time I learned that man is not able to feel pleasure in the way that a woman can. Woman has a very wide range of pleasures or feeling pleasures, all kinds of pleasures. And man has a smaller range of experiencing pleasure. That's why man is attracted to a woman because through woman he can feel something more than he can usually feel. That's why men are drawn to women that are really enjoying themselves. And that's why we say, oh, she's so sexy. That's why men love her. Well, but why a woman is sexy? Because she enjoys her body right now, right here, every moment of her life. She's just she's just feels herself. And you can achieve that when you connect, when you close your eyes and you try to feel your knees, try to feel your calves, try to feel your fingers to see like what's going on there at all. Because sometimes we're so busy with our heads. I don't even know what's going on with my body. I don't know, am I on period or not? I don't remember anymore because I took some pills maybe and stuff. I don't know. But it's not okay. We need to feel everything that's going on with our bodies. We need to feel the pain. We need to feel the pleasure. We need to feel, of the pain after workouts. We need to feel the release after stretching. And, you know, even even every feeling that we go through is going through our body. We can't know what we feel. We can't receive, signs from the people around, from the world around, if we don't feel our body, because we're receiving all that through our body. There's all chakras that like receive different information on different levels. And if you feel only here, there's nothing that you can feel, because this one is connected to the universe. This one is connected to information. Everything that is like so high doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have connection to the body. Connection to the body goes from here and down. So this is heart, stomach, and ovaries.
Thank you for breaking it down because, you know, as a person who has gone on her own personal, spiritual, and healing journey, I was a person who was consistently and happy in my masculine energy. Like I was happy with being the overworker. I was happy not thinking about myself. I was happy just, carrying that load like a man. And it wasn't until I was forced into recognizing what was happening with my body that I learned to identify my feminine energy, which if you're actually willing to do the work, y'all, tuning into your energy can, what some people call, give you superpowers. So for you, you say that your energy have strengthened over time. At what
Absolutely.
point did you decide to build a business around your gifts?
Well, let's say the deepest healing that changed my life drastically. And this process left me with like energy body so strong, my immunity went up. I I could drink cold water with ice. I could go with my wet hair convertible after I bathed in that freezing ocean. And that took 1 year. And that that's a system that I chose for myself. I was doing morning rituals. I was doing self-healing work, practices, all kind of stuff. And I was still working at a bar at the time. And even the bar helped me to work on my ego,
Mm.
because in that environment, I was able to heal my ego. Because every time I was walking there, oh my gosh, Anna, what are you doing here? There's all drunks here. Same people are coming here every day. They drink all day, every day. What are you doing here? you know. So I was like, so what? Maybe I don't understand their life. So I started to work with my ego there. So it was 1 year of very deep, deep work on every sphere of my life. And after like it was summer, August, I started to conclude with all my changes. I started to realize everything that changed in 1 year. I met my love of my life, let's say, too, in that August. And I felt so good. I felt so full of energy and so inspired that I said, it's time to help others. I cannot keep it to myself. And this is how I decided that I would start working with women, and that I'd start opening up topics and bringing myself out there and being available as I can to help as many women I can. And then then I started to open myself up to this and look at this. as a business, because otherwise it's very difficult to do that. And I had a period of time where I was doing this free, and all that, paths of getting grounded as a practitioner, as a healer. And it took some years to work on that too. Because yeah, as I told you, like I'm from poor family, from poor country. I came here with no money. Like building business for me, it's not something super easy and supernatural. So these are things that I'm healing on right now.
Thank you for sharing with our audience because people think that you got to start a business with $1 million in the bank account or have really, really good credit when all it really takes is sometimes going through a personal experience and just wanting to help others. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's episode, you are a trained opera singer and songwriter. How did you bridge the classical vocal training into channel singing for healing?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, I was singing since I was a kid. I wanted to sing. I remember since I remember myself. That's why I went to music school when I was 6 and stuff. So I was singing my whole life. And as I told you, when I was living in Italy, I started to write songs because I was not able to practice and to like sing anywhere as opera singer. So I started to write my songs. It was just happening to me. And it was a very interesting process for me. It was unconscious back then, but now I understand that this is part of something that led me to channel singing too. So vocal abilities is something really important to do that. But also now I realize when I was writing the songs, it was some kind of process of channeling actually, because I was receiving stuff. I was receiving melody with words. I was receiving I'm still calling this like little universes, like little worlds where I was like going to in some way. And there I was describing this like state of being, this something that it's difficult to say in a word how channeling works because there's many types of channeling. Some people that receive information and just say it out loud. I was receiving states of being, like some kind of moods, and it came with words and melody. Sometimes it just came with melody, like a shape already or something. So I was developing that and doing songs from those, like a chorus would come to me, and I would go deeper. I would dive deeper in that, let's say, channel, and I would write verses. And now, after my healing here, after that 1 year of healing, I started to do a lot of energy work and with others and to expand my super abilities because I'm how do you say, super sensitive person. It's like to make it simple to understand is like, for example, I'm looking at you and I can start receiving information about you. I can know like how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and I could feel even the reasons. Sometimes I would receive the root of your like of something that happened even in your ancestry. Sometimes that happens too. So it's like some kind of channeling and sensitivity because channeling is usually going like upstairs from the all information that is all there, and sensitivity is going to connect with other person or the people around you. And it's when you tune in with your feelings and start feeling what everything like else is around you or a person close to you start feeling what this person feels exactly, even in the body. So it's like mirroring whatever person feels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and that helps a lot to work with somebody and guide through a healing because if I know what's going on with you, I know exactly what to work on with you. So that's really a gift. Before it was a hell because I never could know like what's going on with me because I thought that something's going on with me, but it was something I was feeling from another person. I guess it's a different topic to open up. So After I started to work with other people and work more on my channeling abilities, let's say, developing them, it was during COVID because with my husband, we go camping a lot. We are in nature a lot. And during COVID, it was even more. So once I was on the beach and looking at the moon, and I started realizing that I'm singing to the moon. And at that point, I started being conscious, and I realized I'm doing something with my voice. I know that I was doing this before, but I was not conscious about it. It was just so natural that I wasn't even thinking about it. And at that point, at that night, I was singing to the moon and I started being conscious. Wait a minute, what I'm doing with my voice here. And I started to do it consciously. And I started to, let's say, research this. And I understood back then that this is the something, some same feeling is like something close to when I was writing songs, but it's different. And it's something bigger from my feelings. I felt that this is something different. And after that, I started to try this with my mom, with my husband to see what's going on. And I I could understand that intuitively I know what I was doing, but with my brain I couldn't understand what I was doing. So I was going through that process to make this understandable for my brain. When you have to do the same thing over and over until you understand what you're doing. Because I also realized that I need to be able to explain other people what am I doing. So the voice is an extraordinary power, and mixed up with my abilities, it became something like superpower. Because with my voice, what I now know what I'm doing is usually what I do. For example, a person has an intention or something, a problem to heal. So we are taking that intention and I start to channel with my voice. So I start singing whatever is like coming through me at that moment. So I never know what I will be singing, how it will sound. I have no idea. So whatever I receive, I sing to that person. And everything that this person needs to feel, like the frequency, the melodies, the sounds, it all influences the body, subconscious, and the energy. Because sound is something that goes through all the levels of being. So well, we all know that sound waves hit the physical world. It hits the physical material, and you can feel the vibrations. If, for example, I'm an opera singer. If I sing to you when you're in front of me, you'll feel my voice on your body. You'll feel the vibration on your body because it's something very quite massive. And so we know that sound is actually something physical. You can't see it, but it can touch you. And it also goes on the energy levels. And when a person hears something, it works with subconscious too. So somebody can be aware or not of the music that goes like sounds around, but it definitely influences a person. So I love this gift because it works on so many levels. And person is able to receive all that in simple singing, simple sound. And usually people, well, it depends on the person. Somebody starts to see something like colors, images. Somebody has like a whole experience because sometimes it could be like something that reminds a shamanic trip, but it depends on the person because someone is ready to receive a deep healing and somebody is not ready yet. So we go slowly. And I can feel that through the channel that is coming to me. Sometimes I can feel, oh, this is something really light. Okay. Okay, we go like that. Also, with my singing, thanks to researching this work, I can consciously work with the body through the sound. I can consciously do some things through the voice and singing, working with the person. But usually what I let myself do is channeling because spirits and that person's guides and the ancestors, they know better what this person needs than me. So I'm opening myself to receive whatever is needed to this person. And I try to not, I'm like, to not guide, to not control this process and to be fully open for this channel. Yeah.
Love it. And let's talk about women for a minute because you help high achieving women.
Mhm.
What is the common theme that you see amongst them? Like, what pains are they commonly carrying?
Well, I think the biggest issue is the one I already mentioned is that most women tend to control their lives from their heads. And this it's not like very difficult to do. Well, it is possible to control your life with your head, and many do that. But the outcomes we have are not the best ones. So I guess this is the biggest problem that I've encountered so far. Mm, The urge to control, the urge to overthink, and to strategize. This is something that is not, how to say that, something that is not natural for a woman to do. The control, the strategy, the thinking, the launching arrows is for men. It's like masculine energy, masculine principles of being. And for this reason, it really hurts feminine energy to be in those kind of in the head and to be in those processes and in those energies. We definitely use that. But if you mainly live in those, it's not it's not good for you. Yes, this is mainly what's happening. So in order to heal that, sometimes I need to work with mm, mama papa trauma or ancestry. Sometimes it goes deeper. Sometimes it goes even with past lives. And yeah, because when a woman is resistant to go into her feminine, it's because of this trauma. It's not because a woman decides to not be in feminine energy. It's because of a trauma we decide to not be comfortable in feminine energy because it usually it's scary in our world, in the system that we're living in. It's very scary to just be relaxed and trust God and the universe that everything will be provided. We don't believe that. We know that if I need something, I have to go and get it. But well, I don't know if fortunately or not, a woman is capable of attracting stuff and without going there, getting that what she needs. When she's in harmony and balance and she knows what she wants, honestly, things just come her way. Well, definitely sometimes we need to go out of house too. But literally sometimes it happens even like that. Even even being in a house and even without going. But this is extreme.
Oh, wow. You've given so many different examples, and thank you for sharing with our audience because me being that woman that enjoyed being in my masculine energy and just thought the feminine side was me being weak, me being submissive, I had to learn through getting sick that you have to embrace that feminine energy in you because that's the playful side. That's the happy side. That's the side that helps you attract what's really truly aligned and meant for you.
Nobody likes to say the ugly things. But the ugly truth is when I was living outside of my feminine energy and trying to be like that, as I can describe myself before, I was this idealistic kind
Mm.
of man inside of me that I knew how it's supposed to be and people supposed to be like that. But I was not in my feminine. And when a woman is not accepting her feminine side and is not diving into that, unfortunately, problems with health arise. Problems in different spheres of life can arise. But first of all, and the ugliest one is a health. And if the body is not in the energies it needs to be, unfortunately, health issues are real. And sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes it takes years, but when it hits, it hits. And I would not want for anyone to go through that. But we accept every kind of path, and everybody needs all kind of experiences. But if you don't want to go through extreme pain and health difficulties and stuff, maybe we can inspire women to look into this before that. That would be perfect.
Don't let yourself get sick by just being constantly in your masculine energy and just thinking you just got to ignore what you've been through as a woman. Like, find ways to release that way of thinking, whether if it's going to a therapist, calling Miss Anakali, or just journal it down. Like, find a way to get back to self. You'll thank us both later. Now, I want to talk about you monetizing your spiritual work. This is something that's not popular at all in the business industry, and especially for women. How were you able to monetize this work in a hard city like Los Angeles?
That's a good question. Well, I guess as any other service business, you you make yourself available, you let people know what you do, and people are inspired. Usually people are not doing the choice with their brains, but they just feel it. I need this. I need this. I trust this. And they go into this work, and that's how it happens. And I cannot say that this is my main income right now because I'm also finishing my master's degree. During summer, I will get back full time into this, and I have many projects upcoming, and my personal transformational game is on the way. I'm working on that, and my personal oracle deck, and I'm hoping that will open the door for more people into spiritual world through a game that will be more safe and pleasant to get into. Yes, I'm also preparing online courses that I still think this is something that is more, you know, available, more open and available for more people of different levels to start working on, because work one on one is a little bit specific, and people that are not ready fully are afraid of, you know, deeper work. So I'm working right now to create more different projects that will be simpler and easier and lighter for people to start getting into this, into self-healing work, into intuitive singing, and into body work. I have a sensual workout. It's my author's workout that is something between what with dance element and workout, and it's very very great. It's like bringing this somatic release, works on many levels. It's like works with energy. It's not just a workout, not just exercise. It's like feminine energy exercise through the body. So I'm planning, like I'm working on getting this in a video format, so it's more available for people to experience,
Mm.
and it's easier to get on to. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And I can't wait for especially the game. Like, that's actually very innovative, and I think that a lot of more people, especially women, we love to get together with our girls, spouses, whoever, and play some games. So that was a very innovative method that you took, and I love it and can't wait to hear more about it. So I want to ask you, because we always leave with a legacy. When people look back on your work, how do you want to be remembered?
Well, some people tell me that they always think about me as about a very warm woman and caring. And I'm always grateful to hear that from other people. And I think this is something that I would be glad to go by because, we all have huge goals. I'd like to, serve millions of women and to help them transform their lives. But even if I'm remembered by many people as somebody that inspired them to do something, that's enough for me.
I love that. Just thank you for the work. Now, sadly, today's episode has come to an end. But before we go, I want to get all of Miss Anakali's information. Let us know how we can sign up for your courses, where we'll be able to find the games. Let us know all the details.
Well, the best thing to do is going on my website that is Anakali, Anakali healer.com, and subscribe to my email newsletter. And that's the best way to keep in touch. Otherwise, as usually, Instagram, Instagram or TikTok, I'm more active on Instagram. My username is same everywhere. It's Anakali Healer. No dots, no nothing, just Anakali Healer.
I love it. Any last words before we adjourn today's meeting?
My last word is to women definitely get yourself inspired in your heart and try to do just one step, because that one step is always bringing us to something else, to something more beautiful. So I would like to inspire you to take this one step towards your own healing.
I love it. And with that, ladies, today's meeting is now adjourned. Thanks again to healer Anna Colley for coming on and offering all her insights. And be sure to subscribe.
Thank you so much.
And be sure to subscribe to About Her Business wherever you receive your podcast so you never miss an upload. Also, leave some comments down in the comment section of which industry you think we should interview next. Until next time, keep your goals tight, your circle tighter, and that bank account